Two guys in their early 50s with one dream, to achieve middle-aged sporting glory. This is the Missing Links Golf Show. Pilgrims, we are back once again, and I'm excited because I am joined by not one, but two co-hosts for this episode of the Missing Links Golf Show. As per usual, Andy Walker, you're joining us. Wonderful to have you.
G'day, buddy. How are you?
I'm very well. Very well. And also joining us at the sports desk is the one and only Mick Patterson. So, Patto, welcome back. Great to see you, my friend.
Great to be back. It's exciting to be back on a second round for the Missing Links. So thank you for the invite.
It's very exciting. Pilgrims, you might remember Mick from, I can't remember which episode number it was. Should have done my research.
It was pretty early in the piece, wasn't it? Would have been maybe 12 months after we started, probably about sort of 50 odd.
Yeah, it'd be something like that. So Mick came on to tell us the story about his crack at the Ontario Mid-Am, Mick, that we were talking about, and your very, very dangerous brush with a tummy bug during that tournament. One of my favourite golf stories ever. So sorry for bringing that up again. I know it's traumatic memories, but hopefully there's some happier stories to talk about tonight. Who knows? Because we're going to talk about some golf, because you boys got out and played some golf together recently. So I think
we did.
I think that's a pretty good place to start.
I don't know about pretty good.
Oh no, I think it's good.
Because the golf itself wasn't pretty good.
I've seen the scorecards. We've got the receipts. Yeah. So anyway, look, set the scene. I don't know who of you wants to jump in, but maybe Andy Walker, set the scene. When was it? What was the story? And then we can unpack what on earth went on.
Yeah, look, it was Thursday morning, so Mick and I put our names down to have a game at Coimbra Waters in the Thursday comp. And look, it was a lovely day, beautiful weather, nice crisp winter's day. It was still a little bit soggy. We've had a fair bit of rain on the sunny central, well, it hasn't really been sunny Central Coast, but it's just been the Central Coast. So it was still a little bit damp, and the course was still shortened a little bit because Coimbra Waters being on a wetland and being reclaimed, it is called Coimbra Waters for a reason, and we're still a little bit damp. So a lot. There were, I think, 3 or 4 of the par 4s, and I think one of the par 5s was a par 3. So very, very short course and pretty wet underfoot in different places. But we played a 2-ball, played in the comp, but the comp actually didn't, of course it was such a shortened course, it actually didn't count towards our handicap. So it was just a sort of comp round, but a club comp round rather than a Golf Australia handicap round.
And this is because the stroke index for the course would not have been relevant because it was a short course. Yeah. So they wouldn't have a course rating. They wouldn't have a slope rating, I assume. So therefore can't calculate a handicap differential.
Correct. Yep. Yeah.
Anyone new to golf listening to that conversation is going to go, what are you talking about?
Exactly. But look, it was good company, but the golf was a bit ordinary, and I had a pretty poor front nine. I think I had about maybe 12 points on the front nine, and really, really struggled. And I had a better back nine. I think I had 17 on the back nine, so I finished pretty strongly. I actually finished par birdie. Birdied the last to walk off with a 4-pointer, and that was about the highlight of the round. The rest was, very dodge. I wouldn't say it was some of my best golf I've ever played.
Mick, your point of view, what did you see out there, my friend?
You're talking about it particularly of Andy's game, or are you talking about it in general?
I'm happy for you to take this wherever you want to.
I did I did consider walking about 10 paces behind Andy just because he had a broomstick. So it was a bit embarrassing to have to walk around 18 holes with someone with a broomstick, but I did it. I stuck it out and I did it.
Shots fired early. That's fantastic.
But no, Andy didn't have the greatest front nine. I think I had 12 points on the back, and yeah, I think I finished white. Well, you finished par birdie. I finished white. So
yeah, and I got you by one.
Yeah, you got me by one.
So Mick's had 28 points. I've had 29. I finished 2-pointer, 4-pointer, and Mick's finished white, and I've got him by a shot.
Oh, yeah. Mick, what's going on? So anyway, I mean, look, I am trying to really labour the point here a little bit because I know neither of you particularly want to talk about this round of golf, which makes fantastic audio just quietly. But lessons learned, like what came out of the day? There's got to be something that comes out of the day, whether it's flexing the grit muscle, hanging in the round, mental aptitude, a swing tweak, something like that. What came out of it? Let's put a little light at the end of the tunnel here on what was otherwise a pretty ordinary day.
Look, I think for me, look, I had a reasonably good finish, and so I hung in there, and a bit of grit shown to have a better back nine than the front nine. I was a bit perplexed walking down 10 because I wasn't able to warm up. Now it was a pretty chilly morning, but I still felt really stiff walking down 9 and 10. And I had a conversation with Mick just saying, I still feel like I haven't warmed up. Like I did a reasonably good warm up. I stretched. I felt like I had a reasonable start to the day, but I didn't feel like I was had any mobility or flexibility, and then sort of had a bit of an epiphany walking down the 10th that 2 days earlier I'd gotten back into my resistance training and cross training. So I reckon that was probably part of why I was still a little bit stiff and sore and couldn't quite get that mobility going. Not that I'm using it as an excuse. I'm not. It was a fairly poor ball striking round, but I think that may have had something to do with sort of the slow start. But then after warming up, managed to get it around the back reasonably well, and an obviously good finish. Hit a couple of really good shots into 18 and made the putt, which was probably about a sort of 30-footer down the hill. So I was pretty happy to finish on a high note.
Mick told me it was a 5-footer.
Well, it's a long 5-footer.
Yeah, I mean, look, the old workout soreness in a round of golf, I have had that before, and it definitely restricts movement. There's no two ways about it. So I'll give you that one as a potential reason. We won't call it an excuse. We'll call it a reason.
No, and I'm not making excuses. I mean, look, it's been and as we talked about, I sort of felt sort of towards the end of June, I was starting to get into a little bit of a routine, and certainly my irons, the ball striking of my irons started to feel pretty good, and I was still a little bit inconsistent with the driver and fairway, but I just felt I had nothing on Thursday. Like nothing was working on the front nine, and hopefully it might sort of turn it around a little bit. I had a game or played a few holes, 9 holes on Saturday, and I know we're going up to Toronto at Lake Macquarie on Thursday, so have another game there and get back into a little bit of play and practice again.
Mick, I'm interested in your perspective. How did it feel out there for you? Like what was working, what wasn't working?
Oh, well, I think maybe a brief overview. I just didn't feel connected. I didn't feel I had a rhythm. I didn't feel I had much of anything from that perspective. I was losing hybrids that I don't normally lose to the right. I was losing to the right. They usually just had some draw. So I felt a bit lost in general. The putter was adequate. The around the green was fine. But hybrids, irons weren't too bad, but yeah, off the tee, just struggled.
I do feel though, Mick, that from and you mentioned your irons weren't too bad. I feel as though you hit a couple of pretty decent iron shots. I know on the sixth hole, the par three, you had a good tee shot into there, and then on the 12th, you hit a really good, and it went a little bit through the green. I know on 12, but the ball strike was really, really good, and it effectively went at the flag.
It was. Well, you just reminded me actually. One of the things that was missing all day was I was hitting a lot of things thin. Like I almost topped some shots off. I think it was 15. I almost topped a shot off the tee and just sort of rolled forward into the rough.
Yeah.
Everything was coming up high on the ball, which is also really unusual. But
so I've got two questions for you, Mick. So the first question is on the third hole. Did you get past the overhanging branch for one?
Well, that's I got two answers for you there. One, it was a par three.
Yes,
we're halfway down the fairway.
Yeah, so you got to walk past it, yeah.
But the good news is for me is that they took a chainsaw to that branch and it now no longer exists.
Really? Okay. So, well, that is some interesting course design updates. My second question is, so you were saying that you made 12 points on the back nine. So my rudimentary maths would suggest you made, 16 on the front?
Yep.
So you've gone the negative split on your score, which is never what we're after. It kind of makes me think, correct me if I'm wrong, was it Andy Walker's struggles that rubbed off on you and really caused your game to fall apart on the second nine? Is that a fair statement, do you think?
It's very plausible. Yeah. Yes. It's very fair. I think that's likely the only excuse, actually.
Yeah.
See, I think it was the intimidation factor that sort of like Tiger, he felt me coming on the back nine and like just felt me, hunting him down
with your 17-point back nine.
Hairs on the back.
Seven of them on the last two holes.
Standing up and just collapsed.
Yeah. I think it was the broomstick. But anyway.
Could have been the broomstick, yeah. Yeah, wore you down eventually. Wow. All right. Well, look, let's not spend too long on this round of golf. It's been now 13 minutes. It's probably more than it deserved.
Yeah, I think it was.
But we did get a little bit of information out and had a little bit of fun in the process. But the other reason that we wanted you on the show, Mick, there's a couple of other reasons. We'll move to the second one a little later because this one I think is a really interesting story. You had another round following this one, which you did send us a scorecard for, and I don't want to give too many spoilers away because I want to let you tell the story. But there were some super, super interesting things that happened in that scorecard, and I think if we unpick that a little bit, we're going to find a few interesting stories that some of the pilgrims might learn a thing or two about. So I know that's a vague intro, but I do want to throw it to you to just tell us the story. What happened? Where were you? When was it? What did you do?
Yeah, so I'd already planned to go back out on Friday after our round on Thursday. I think maybe zoom out a little bit more. Like I'm trying to play a little bit more, given that there are these series of sort of senior events coming up on the Central Coast. I think there's 4, and I'm just trying to gear up for those. So as part of that, I'm trying to get out twice a week. One in comp. The goal is to get out 1 in comp and 1 for practice. And so we got out Thursday for comp. Friday afternoon was for practice. And so it was just me. I was just by myself. And I went out. It was probably close to 1 o'clock. Wasn't a lot of people around. And yeah, normally coming into a round, regardless of whether it's just a practice or it's a comp or tournament or whatever, I'm meditating, which we've spoken about before.
Andy Walker's a big fan. Yep.
Big fan. Mm-hmm. I usually warm up. I exercise. I move. I do what I need to do. I hit balls. I putt. I chip or whatever I've got to do to get ready. This round, I kind of, you know, I don't know if it's a term here, but in Canada there was a term of like, they'd call it trunk slamming or boot slamming. And so you'd scream into the car park, get your clubs out, slam the boot, run into the first tee, and off you go. It was a bit of that. I arrived with about 10 minutes to go before my tee time because I was working in the morning, and then I just sort of was rushing to get there. Actually, I had to pick up balls along the way. Got balls, went to the course, and then I got a few swings in the nets, a couple of chips, a couple of putts, and then I went off to the first tee. So it's completely not like my normal setup for or how I get myself ready for a round.
Now, do you find, sorry to jump in, like, do you find this is more likely to happen on a practice round or a, you know, like a non-competition round? Because I know I'm guilty of this, right? Like if I'm going to play in a comp round, I pretty much always make sure I get there minimum 45 minutes beforehand, you know, go through a good warm-up, kind of get yourself sorted. The last thing I ever want to do is be rushing because that just personally really puts me off. But then if it's a practice round, I might be more likely to, you know, rock up to the course, pay your money in the pro shop and stroll over to the first tee and kind of warm up as you go. It's bad practice, but I think sometimes that happens.
Yeah, and I usually try and make time for that stuff. I just like to prepare myself to go out and play, like regardless of whether it's comp or practice. So I still usually do the same things, but I was kind of wedged between trying to get my morning work done, and there was a group that was out in the afternoon called the Friday Boys, and it took up, I don't know how many tee spot times it took up in the afternoon. So I was trying to get out before those guys got out because I knew that would have been slow getting out behind those guys. So it was just, I just accepted it. It was like, that's what I got going on, and I'm just going to go.
So did that really negatively affect your front nine, do you think?
I don't think it did. No, strangely enough, I don't think it did. Which is really odd to me. But yeah, there was two things. I thought about the round that I'd played with Andy, and I said before about not feeling connected and not feeling with my swing and feeling like I was trying to hit the ball too hard, and I just started off at the first tee. I'm just like, well, I have this like a knockdown tee shot that I try and play, whether it's into the wind or if I'm just trying to have a fairway finder. I'm just going to start with that and put it out there and see where it goes. And so I started with that. It cut up the fairway, and it was in the middle of the fairway, and it was fine. And then I hit my 4 hybrid in, which strangely enough drew in, which I couldn't get a hybrid to draw the day before. And it just drew left of the green, sort of ended up in the rough. Actually, it was plugged in the rough. Got it out, and then chipped on to like 2 feet and made the putt for birdie. It's par 5.
Nice.
I'm like, oh, that's all right. And then rolled over to the second hole. I forget what I was playing. I'm also still in yards, so I'm going to try to do the conversion.
Yeah.
But it's good
on Thursday it was 115 meters, but we were playing from fairly well forward, so it's I think it's sort of around about 155, 160 from the back markers. So depending on sort of what tees and where they were, usually I think the whites are usually around the 115 to 120 meters. So what's that sort of 135 yards ish.
We had 10%. So let's say 127, somewhere thereabouts, give or take. So I think it was about 128 is what I remember, yards.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Missing Links Metric to Imperial Conversion podcast.
It's because we still, everyone still talks in feet a bit, don't we, in Australia, where we talk about putts.
Yeah, no, it's weird. It's super weird.
Yeah, so we do meters from tee to green, and then feet when we're on the green.
Makes no sense. It makes no sense.
No sense at all.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I think I was in pretty much the same spot as we were the day before. Pin hadn't changed that much. I hit a decent shot, landed almost pin high, and it spun back and landed on the fringe between the timber retaining wall that separates the water from the green and the green is maybe, I don't know how far it is. Maybe there might be a meter of fringe there. And then so it was just sitting on there, and it was about 12 feet from the hole. And so I knocked it up and it rolled in. I was like, oh,
nice.
Start.
2 under after 2.
Yeah,
It's not a bad start.
Yeah,
so was that your swing thought? Was it just I'm not going to try and belt it. I'm just going to swing smoothly, swing, based on tempo and try and hit the middle of the club and get a reasonable ball flight. Is that what the focus was?
Yes, it was, but I had this feel that it comes and goes. In the last time I remember feeling it, not that it helped me, but it was on the last round when I was on the range for the last round at the Duntry, and I had this. It was just this feeling where I get to the top, and I just sort of feel my arms just drop, and it just sort of drops, and I find the spot, and it just goes through. And funnily enough, even though I felt like I was hitting it harder the day before, I think the ball was actually going further on the Friday when I went back with this feeling. So my timing was better. It was, for whatever reason.
So it's amazing what a bit of timing and tempo does.
Yeah. It honestly was. So that was my feel for every iron shot for the day and every other shot, to be honest. So, but yeah.
So two under through 2. So how did you go after that?
You want to go hole by hole with this front nine, or what do you want to? How do you want to?
Yeah, just go through maybe sort of pars, birdies, bogeys on a hole by hole.
Because I'm thinking course record at the moment, 2 under after 2, and I think and I feel like you've found the answer. It's don't warm up.
Well, maybe it is. Look, the third, which is we all know is I know it's Steve's favourite hole on the golf course. And after my tee shot when we played together there, it's definitely not my favourite hole on the golf course. But yeah, I'd made a par at 3. I just knocked a hybrid up to the middle of the fairway, knocked a hybrid to the left-hand side of the green, pin high, chipped on 1 putt. Another par at 4, knocked it on the green, about 25 feet away, 2 putts. 5, there was a bit of, so when these rounds, I feel like when these rounds kind of happen, there's a bit of good fortune that kind of happens on these days. And 5, the tee shot on 5 was a bit of good fortune where I was just trying to hit that knockdown. I pulled it a little bit. It was going towards the bunkers. It skipped out of the bunkers and just landed on the grass on the other side of the bunkers on the left hand side. So I was there. I was hit an 8-iron up to the short of the green, maybe 60 meters away from the green. Put it to about 12 feet and sunk the putt for birdie.
Nice.
Ooh, so 3 under through 6.
Through 5.
Through 5.
Oh, through 5. Nice.
Yeah. I'm still thinking course record.
Par on 6, just on and 2 putts. 7, I went to the left rough, sort of parallel with there's a bunker on the right-hand side. And then I had a 9-iron in. I put the 9-iron to about 4 feet and sunk the putt.
Wow.
-4.
Okay.
4 through 7.
-4 after 7. Mick
So
on a heater.
How were you feeling at this stage, Mick? Were you still pretty relaxed and pretty chilled, or did you start to go, like I'm 4 under? So, like, what was the thought process?
Yeah. It was trying to acknowledge that I was there, but trying to get ahead of myself a little bit. I was trying to, like, because I score on my watch and through Garmin, and when you look at your watch, it's staring you in the face.
Yeah.
4 and a minus in front of you.
Yeah.
So it's and like I think my index at the moment is 7. Like I don't shoot under par. Like I think the best under par I think I've finished for 9 holes is 1 under. Like it's not something I do.
Mm. And you were treating this effectively like a comp round, weren't you? So you were putting out, you were playing one ball, and
putting out, playing
just trying to shoot the best score you could.
Yeah, just because it's training for. I'm there to practice for these tournaments that are coming up. That's the whole point of coming out and practice. So yeah, I putted everything out. There was no in Canada, there's lots of gimmies that go around the place, but there was no self gimmies today on this day.
That's good.
Yeah.
We don't do gimmies on the Missing Links Golf Show.
No. There was, and then 8 and 9 were pars to close it out.
Nice. 4 under front. That's amazing.
4 under front.
All right.
Yeah.
So we played 9. You're 4 under, and you know it.
Yep.
What's going through the head at this point?
Yeah, that's it's really hard to not get ahead of yourself and jump to finishing the round, and what ifs go through your head. What if I end up shooting a low number? What if there's all these little questions and your mind starts to go a bit crazy.
So I'm told that this is the point where techniques such as meditation can be helpful.
There was, what I should have been breathing. There was no breathing.
Bit of breath work.
Breath work is definitely the go. All right. So take us through the second 9, Mick. How did it pan out? Did we finish at 4 under for the day?
We did not finish at 4 under. Still respectable, but I think, what was the back 9? I think the back 9 was 41, so 5 over on the back. So, but yeah, definitely.
But even still, from if you're playing off 7, that's still 42 points effectively.
That's an awesome round of golf
in a comp round, and while yes, you might have 4 under, 5 over, not consistent, but even still, that front 9 absolutely on fire. So that's got to give you some confidence. The game's there, and as we've talked about on the show a few times, it takes a few times when you're either under par or around par, when you're not used to shooting those scores. It does take a few times to be able to close it out at the end of the round, because it is uncomfortable, and your mind does start playing a few tricks on you, and you start getting ahead of yourself, and to be able to sort of change that, to be able to stay in the present moment. And we always refer to our conversation with Josh Nichols in that he says that it doesn't matter what score you are and where you are in your round, you don't actually have a good round yet. You've got the potential and the opportunity to shoot a good round, but you don't actually have it. So that's, to me, is one of the best ways to come back to that mindset, to bring yourself back into the present moment and just play the shots in front of you.
It's true. Yeah. Although I would like to go, because I've got your scorecard in front of me here, Mick, having a look at it at the moment. And Pilgrims, I can tell you that after his 4 under front, Mick across the back went, starting at 10, went par, bogey, par, bogey, par, bogey, bogey through 16 holes, and then parred 17. So you were standing on the 18th tee, level par.
That didn't actually enter my head at all, actually, to be honest.
That doesn't help the story, Mick. But you were actually standing on the 18th tee level par. Now, let's be honest, the 18th at Coimbra is not an easy hole. And, I would just probably describe it as a par 4.5 in many respects, certainly depending on wind direction, which actually Andy Walker makes your birdie the day before on that hole even more special. But I think interesting to think that you're standing on 18 even par. Like, when was the last time you shot even par for 18 holes? Have you done that before? Or
No.
So that would have been a first.
I think that my best is it was still 73, but it was a 2 over. So,
yeah, on a par 71. So where were you mentally at this point? Like, had you kind of surrendered to a little bit of the frustration of letting a few slip on the back nine, or were you still thinking that this is actually a really good round and, you know, a good hole here, I can finish well? Where was the mindset?
No, it was definitely in the perspective of this is still a really great round. I hadn't it was not in a way that I'd lost it or I thought it wasn't that I messed it up. I was just like, it's hard. Like, it's hard to go through having a front nine like that and then try and keep it together or be focused or stay in flow. Like, it's really hard. And it takes me back to when we played myself and my buddy Steve, when we played the Better Ball qualifier in Ontario, that day I started off birdie. But one of the playing partners, one of the other team that we were playing with, he's like, oh, off to a hot start. And I was like, oh, yeah, actually I was off to a hot start. And then I went bogey. And then, and then instead it came back to reality. But it was just that comment that brought me out of the moment.
Yeah.
Or brought me out of the flow. And it was just what happened. It was okay. But it was, I referred back to that. I'm like, where would that have gone if I hadn't have had that thought pop into my head that, oh, I actually am 2 under through 2. And I didn't have that thought in this round. And so I didn't, I think I just enjoyed being as part of that, enjoyed going low and enjoying that experience of where am I going to go? How am I going to react during this? Because I think that it is just having these experiences and having these repetitions and go through this again and again. Well, I think you were saying before, Andy, it's like you just get a better feeling for it and you feel more comfortable maybe when you do it. I don't know. I'd like to do it again. We'll see if it happens again. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think comfortable is the right term for it, because I don't think that when you're shooting a good score, you're ever comfortable. I think that you're just able to mentally deal with it and able to sit with it longer and still be able to make good swings and mentally stay in the game and have good processes and have good swing thoughts. So I don't think seeking comfort is the right way to go about it. I think it's more putting yourself into that situation and realizing it's going to be uncomfortable and learning how to deal with that discomfort.
Something that you said, Mick, was really kind of got me thinking. It was really interesting because you're talking about the round when you're playing with other old mate, and he made the comment that, you know, off to a hot start that dragged you out of flow, right? Because from my meager understanding of flow, it's essentially where you're really mentally in your consciousness and awareness is really inside your body. You know, like you're really super present in the moment and in what you're doing. And that enables you to access the skill set, et cetera, et cetera. That comment's taken you out of that space of being really in the moment and really present and in your actions. And it's actually put you in an analytical mindset of looking at your game. So it's removed you from being in it, taken you external, looking at it, and obviously starts the time travel paradox where you all of a sudden now getting 3, 4, 5 holes ahead and you're no longer there in your present moment. I mean, I just think, you know, isn't that a fantastic piece of knowledge if you're ever in a match play situation and someone's playing really well and, you know, all you got to do is go, geez, you're playing so well right now. Like you know, imagine what could happen by the end of this round if you keep this up. Oh, wouldn't that be nasty? But I think the thing is, right, like, okay, we can see that. We can acknowledge that. We kind of know what's going on. How do you stop it? That's the thing. Well, that's the missing link on this one. How do you prevent that?
There's different. From trying to get back to being present again, right? And And I think that
Yeah.
the things that I gravitate towards on the golf course, and it's from listening to a few different people over the years, but we have three main ways where our body wants to sort of become present again, and that's either through feel, through kinesthetic channel, through vision, or through hearing. So if I'm on the golf course and I'm trying to get back present again, I'm either trying to feel my hands on the club or feel my footsteps on the ground. I'm going, not just helped me on Friday, but I'm looking out at the trees and looking at the leaves moving. I'm listening to the birds. And from my understanding, that's the three things that are the most useful at trying to bring you back into that present state. Because you, for whatever reason, that's what. There's one guy who speaks about this quite often. And if you haven't heard about him, he's definitely worth looking up. His name's Jim Waldron. He is a golf coach and a mental coach. He was I don't know how far he got with karate, but he was quite a high-level martial artist. He started looking into how consciousness works when he was even just a small kid. And that's what he's been the study of his whole life. And I think he's in the US. He's based in Oregon and Hawaii, I think. But I was listening to him on a few different podcasts, and I really resonate with a lot of stuff that he says. Really interesting guy, if you can look him up.
That sounds amazing. Sounds like a potential future guest on the Missing Links Golf Show, if you ask me. Jim Waldron, was it? Is that the name?
Jim Waldron, yeah. Yeah, I forget what he's called. Connected Golf, I think it might be called.
Okay.
Really interesting dude.
We'll try and find him. And chuck some info in the Facebook group. That's some pearls of wisdom there, Nick.
It's called Balance Golf, sorry.
Balance Golf. That's some pearls of wisdom. I really like that, talking about, the use of senses to bring you back into the present, because one of the things, I think I've done this without really knowing why or what I'm doing, but, we often talk about that phrase of get your head where your feet are, to get grounded in the moment and get back present. And as a result of just using that phrase, one of the things I find is actually feeling the feel of my feet in my golf shoes.
Yeah.
Actually works, like wiggle your toes and, scrunch your feet up and that sort of stuff, to actually, just as that trigger to bring yourself back to the ground that your feet are walking on. And that's where you want to get your head, not, it's no use having your head on the 18th green when you're playing the 12th hole.
Yep.
So much easier to say than do.
Most definitely.
So much easier.
Well, friend of the show, Dr. Raymond Pryor, talks about doing that through connected breathing.
Yeah,
and that's a lot of the practices that I have out in the golf course. In that I try and take those breaths in and really feel the oxygen, go up through my nasal passage and into my lungs, and then exhale back out again, and really feel the impact that has on my body. And it definitely works. You can feel the stress and the tension dissipate out of your body. You can feel your heart rate slow down. So I think that those sorts of things, it's a similar concept, but I think those things where you become more aware of where your body's at and what your body's doing is definitely the best way to be able to bring yourself back into that mindset and that, that connected sort of awareness of where you are in your golf swing.
Yeah. Yeah. There's another really good quote too, that there's a guy, actually, coincidentally, Ryan Fox's mental coach, Carl Morris is his name, if you've heard of him.
Yeah. I'm actually just on the Jim Waldron website as you're talking, and he does some stuff with Carl Morris.
That's right. That's where I heard him on the Carl Morris. All the time. He's been on a number of times on Carl Morris's podcast. Yeah. But Carl Morris says, stop thinking and come to your senses. And I think he might have taken that from somebody else too. But
yeah.
So it's very interesting.
It is. I mean, I don't think any of these ideas are specifically new, and been invented, but a lot of it draws on ancient wisdoms as well, which we kind of get distracted from in modern life with all sorts of technology distractions and losing the groundedness of the way that we live. That's getting a bit esoteric.
But a lot of it is the same message. It's just told in a different way, and it evolves. And there are some things that you'll connect with, and other things that you sort of go, "Oh no, that doesn't quite work." But I think there's always going to be those things that you listen to and you go, "Oh yeah, I can really make that work." Like, as you were talking about, Mick, you're looking around at sort of the senses and feeling sort of, yourself, your feet, walking and looking at the leaves and the trees around you. And that works for you. Whereas for me, it's more around the breathing, and that really works for me.
Yeah.
I think breathing is a massively underrated skill. And there's times in particular when you are playing well and you do start to get a little bit overexcited and the heart rate picks up and some of those types of things happen, that you, through some good breathing exercises, can really self-regulate and bring yourself back down. But conversely, on the other days when it's not going so well, I love that story that you both told at the beginning of the show, and the frustration's building and the red mist starts to come down, then again, breathing exercise can be very, very useful in those situations. So it can either kind of, regulate from excitement back down or from frustration and work that out of the body. And that's definitely an underrated technique that we've, heard a lot of people that know a lot about what they're talking about, and they all talk about it. Raymond Pryor is one example, but, definitely a lot of people talk about breathing techniques.
Yeah, and I certainly think that, when you're having a poor round of golf, and it's great to have the mental focus and the grit and the resilience, but you also need techniques, I think, to be able to bring you back, rather, than bringing you down as you are when you're having a great round of golf, to bring you up from having a poor round of golf or having a couple of poor holes, to be able to maintain that grit and resilience. It's a similar technique, but it just brings you back into that center line.
So tell me, Mick, what else did you learn during this round? Are there any other pearls? That's a cracker that we've just been through there. I think that's amazing.
Yeah, look, sort of along the same lines, but sort of not. I personally this was an afternoon round. The wind had kind of died away. The sun was up, no clouds. The sun was setting. It's just a beautiful time of day to play golf. Like, it's still warm. The shadows are falling across the greens and the fairways. You can see the different lumps and bumps of the different greens and things like that. I personally find it a beautiful time of day to go golf or to practice. Just be on a putting green as the sun's going down, or chipping if you have that opportunity. It is, to me, somewhat meditative just to go do that. So it was, that was, not that I've learnt that. I've enjoyed doing that, practicing like that, but it was one little part of the story for the day that I found interesting. But learning. I don't need to crush the ball off the tee, because I didn't really talk about it too much, but I kept that same ethos through the whole round and I just played, except for 15, which I lost one in the hazard on the right. But 15 was a bogey, but I chipped in for bogey. Where those days,
nice.
Where you just things just align. Like, it's just you hit a bad shot, but then I chipped in. I was a 4 in front of the green, and then chipped in for not 4 in front of the green. No, I was 3 in front of. There was a rope line we had to walk around the other day, Andy.
Yeah,
that maybe 60 meters away. Then hit my wedge a bit fat, come up a bit short of the green, and then just chipped it in. Yeah.
Great up and down from 60 out.
So it was just trying to not crush everything, trying to stay with that same feeling with every iron shot. and the putter was fine. Actually, more than fine, but it was yeah.
Yeah, I certainly think, and coming back to what you said about playing golf around sort of dusk, in the afternoon, sort of leading into sunset. I'm not really a morning person, so I try not to see too many sunrises. But that time of day, I completely agree with you. When I played a lot of golf down at Mollymook, a lot of my golf was played in the afternoon. I'd get my stuff done that I needed to get done in the morning, and then it was playing until the sun went down in the afternoon. And I, same as you, like loved that time of day to be able to play golf. It was still, it was very calm, especially on those really clear sunny days. Absolutely best time.
Yeah, I love morning golf.
I understand why Andy had 12 points on the front nine when our tee time was 7:40.
It was too early. Yeah, I'll take my golf whenever I can get it. To be perfectly honest, at this point in time, without being too choosy. Awesome work, Mick. We're very, very happy to hear about that round. That front nine in particular is a stellar performance. But even taking the whole round +1 over 18 holes, that's a super round of golf. So congratulations, buddy, and well done. I've also heard on the grapevine, and you might be able to confirm this, that you have engaged in a new business venture.
This is true. I have. I am, I'm trying to bring my love of golf and construction together into one business.
Not always a combination that people immediately leap towards.
No. Strange. I don't know why, strangely enough.
Yeah. So what's the story? What are you doing? Are you building golf courses or?
Oh, that could be fun, but no.
Virtual golf courses.
Virtual golf courses, yeah. So like I've been a builder for 30 odd years, building sort of high-end custom homes and some small commercial projects, which sort of ties in really nicely with home simulators and commercial simulators. And so there's not a lot of people out there that are builders doing simulators. And I sort of see it as a place where I sort of fit into the market where people are looking to do structural modifications to their homes. It's not just like it can just be come and fill my space with a golf sim for sure, but it's like move a wall here, raise the roof, drop the floor, put a granny flat in the backyard that is a golf sim studio, do commercial sims, things like that. So that's what I've just sort of got up and running in the last couple of weeks. It's called the Sim Studio.
Nice.
And that's the direction we're heading in.
That is exciting. And is it just golf, or would you be, potentially looking at sims for other purposes as well? Because I know that some people do use them for more than golf.
Yeah. Look, I've been looking at this for like quite a period of time, and I think golf sims are sort of taken off in popularity here, but definitely in Canada there was lots of different options because you're hunkered down for 6 months of the year with the winter, and unless you go somewhere warm, you've got nothing to go do. So people are running indoors or riding their bikes indoors. I've got a buddy over there who is into stand-up paddleboarding, and he doesn't do it indoors. We found there was a stand-up paddleboard sim that mimicked riding a stand-up paddleboard. And so you can put it up in front of a screen.
Sorry, seriously? Stand-up paddleboarding on a sim?
Yeah.
Wow.
There's a machine for it.
I've heard it all now.
I don't know exactly how it goes about happening, but yeah.
Does it squirt water at you as well, and kind of give you the?
It should be 4D, 4D experience.
Give you the full experience.
You've got to buy a little kiddie pool and put your paddleboard in the kiddie pool and stuff. So, yeah.
That's not a sim then. That's actually doing it. Anyway, I feel like we're slightly off topic there, but so this is a new venture. Obviously, just sort of getting it up and running. So it's great to have the opportunity to, have a chat with obviously a few listeners that are going to be out there. A few of the pilgrims I know are into their sims. As you know, we certainly are with the high performance centers. And you're right, it's definitely booming. So, what sort of area are you working in? You're based on the Central Coast. So is it the sort of thing that, is for that area? Would you come out and do one in the Central West by chance?
Yeah, I think traveling for doing this sort of stuff is definitely on the cards. It's usually, depending on what it is. If it's more of a structural situation, then that, well, it would be a job by job basis. We make an assessment on that. I think I'd probably say I cover New South Wales, I guess, as a start. But yeah, if it's the right job and it looks right, then yeah, we'd definitely have a chat about it and see what was involved.
So if someone was thinking about doing it, thinking about putting a sim in their house, where do you start? Like, what are the sorts of things to think about? How does someone go about figuring out that something, how do they set a budget? Like all those sorts of really practical questions.
Budget is hard. That's a hard one. It's been a hard one even for construction, building someone a new house. It's how do you put a number on a house? I think it all comes back to sort of what do you want to get out of it, and what space do you have, and what do you have to work with. It's all, where I'm at is it's not I wouldn't say I'm in a situation where I'm offering packages to sort of, it's going to cost X amount to do this or X amount to do that. At least not at the moment. I think it's more like, can we put a sim in here? And that means, do I have the head height? Do I have the width? Is it just right-hand golfers or just left-hand golfers? Because if you're only going to be you in there and you're only left-handed, you're going to have a much smaller space than you need if you're having right and left-handers come and hang out and play some golf together.
I think one of the key things also, Mick, that and I found this out with my experience with the High Performance Centre is that when I was actually on the Central Coast and I had it set up in my garage, I had the Garmin, which was a radar-based launch monitor. Whereas I came up here to Lake Macquarie and I set it up in a 6x3 tin shed and the radar just didn't work. So I had to go to a camera-based launch monitor. So I guess you've got to understand all those dynamics as well.
I think so too, but I think where you're at, Andy, is not necessarily the conversations I'm going to be having with people too, because it's more when it's more of there's plenty of people who are just like, well, I've got a mate who I helped him set up his sim in his shed. It's radar based and it's a metal shed, but it's a big shed. So it doesn't, there's no issues in there. But there's lots of people who want to do it themselves, and that's totally fine. Like where I'm more at is like, I'm going to come in and fit out a room with padding on the walls, maybe a net on the ceiling, grass and a heating mat, set up the projector, and whatever else. There's lighting involved, there's computer, there's a touch screen, there's whatever you have that you want to install, that's part of that process. And so it can mean moving walls and putting insulation in. Maybe there's windows going in, there's structural changes. Sometimes there's beams that are in the way that have got to be moved out of the way completely. And a lot of things just reorganized to make a golf sim work. So that's more where I'm at in terms of that sort of space.
So if you want to build a new shed, Andy Walker, then have a chat with Mick.
I actually would, and we probably need to have a catch up, Mick, in regards to this, because the shed that I have is a corrugated iron shed, but it's got no internal walls. And I have had a few issues with water coming into the shed at different points. So, yeah, I have actually thought about maybe enclosing it and putting the internal walls in and making it so that it's effectively watertight, and the water doesn't actually come in. I've done a fair bit of drainage work around the shed, so that does the water doesn't actually flood onto the floor anymore, which it did when I first moved in. But then there's still the internal walls and ceiling that I haven't put in.
Yeah, that's where having a sound knowledge of something we call building science is important. Which is it's a hot topic for another day.
Yes.
But knowing what water does, both bulk water and water vapor through a building and structure is critically important because if you're going to build something, you want to make sure there's nothing is going to get damaged in the future. And so you want to make sure it's resilient to handle all those things.
So your tin shed it doesn't pass the building science test, Andy Walker. That's what I'm hearing.
No, I don't think so.
Sounds to me like a knockdown rebuild. And in fact, probably a whole house. Like let's turn it into a golf resort.
Yeah. So somehow I'm going to struggle to get that past the other half.
Which is an interesting topic, right? Like, so Mick, you provide a lot of advice to people that are interested in putting Sims in their houses, and come and have a look and structurally decide everything that needs to be done. Obviously, have a chat about budget and what that's going to be like as well. Do you also provide advice on how to broach the topic with the wife?
I really should. I really should. I did kick the idea of putting an FAQ on the website about that. But I haven't done it.
That's got to be done. We'll help with that. That's totally fine. Like that's,
Yes, I'll be calling you.
Yeah. Comms is right up my alley. So we can absolutely do that. Dear, that's pretty funny. Mick, tell the pilgrims if they're interested in exploring the installation of a sim, if they want to get more information, they want to chat to you about it, how do they reach you?
Yeah, you can catch me. Well, you can start on the website. The website is thesimstudio.com.au. People can email me at mick@thesimstudio.com.au, or we can leave a phone number too if we want to leave a phone number. If people want to call,
we'll chuck it in the show notes, my friend. I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, that's good. Perfect.
Yeah, amazing. That's very exciting. I can't wait to hear how it goes. I can't wait to see some photos of some of the projects that you're working on, and certainly if any of the pilgrims are out there and thinking about doing it. One thing I will say is putting a practice facility in your own house is one of the best investments that you can make, not just in your golf, but also in your mental health, your physical health, and the health of your relationships. So if that's not a ticket to running that one past the good lady wife to get approval for the investment, then I don't know what is.
No, I mean, yes. The family space is the big one. Like, have it as a co-use family space.
Mate, and it can double as a home cinema.
That's right. Exactly. Home cinema. People play games on it. Our friends in Canada and when my kids would go over, they'd all play Just Dance together and with video games. And yeah, it's an awesome time.
I'm starting to think we need not just one, but two of these in our house. It sounds so good.
You can start a business.
No, you've already done that. Amazing work. Andy Walker, you got any more questions for Pato whilst we've got him with us on the show?
No, I think that's a pretty good overview of what you've been doing. It sounds like a really exciting project, and look, I'm all for having that space inside your own property. I mean, we've talked about it quite a few times, and as Steve just mentioned, having a sim inside your property, whether it be in an external building, in the garage, or wherever, it makes that practice more accessible and just keeps you in touch with your game, and being able to just jump out there and making it easy to be able to go and practice and hit a few balls, and you only need to do it for 10-15 minutes a day, but at least that daily practice, small steps, it's certainly going to keep your game on the up and up.
And if it transpires that there is a particular hole on a golf course that, really owns you, I suppose you could just play that over and over on the sim and, get to grips with it and improve. That could be an idea.
Yeah. There is one that I've played a number of times at my home golf club.
Which one? Which is the one that you feel has your number, Andy Walker?
Look, I think it's always been the 13th.
Mm-hmm. Is there one that's got you covered, Mick?
I really don't like the third. No, not one.
I hate the third as well. The third's a terrible hole. Needs to be bulldozed.
I just don't like it. It's a silly hole.
Yeah.
I mean, they could have done away with. They could have taken a chainsaw to those two trees rather than that one branch.
Absolutely. Hallelujah.
But that's a different story.
Well, they have done a little bit of tree removal on the golf course. It's just not the trees that we're talking about, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's very disappointing. Very disappointing. Well, Mick Patterson, thank you very much for a return appearance on the Missing List Golf Show. It's been great to have a good chat with you about all sorts of things. It's been one of those episodes that's covered a lot of ground. Awesome to see you. You're looking well, which is always a great thing to say on an audio podcast. But it is good to see you, my friend. And good to hear. Good to hear the stories. And we absolutely hope that your business goes from strength to strength. I think it's a great idea, and people should get behind it.
Mm. And looking forward to catching up again on Thursday, Mick, and having another game where, as I mentioned earlier, heading up and having them at Toronto. So looking forward to that on Thursday. So I'm expecting at least 4 under around the front 9 and smoking hot around the back 9 as well. So we'll see if we can shoot a subpar round on Thursday.
All I'm looking forward to doing is beating Andy Walker. That's all I'm looking forward to doing.
Good. Got to do better than white.
Yeah, don't finish like that again, Mick. That's my advice.
I think we're going turnabout, so I think it's my turn this time, I think. So,
yeah. No, that's fair enough. You give him a good lesson.
Yeah.
I think it's reached that time in the show. I don't know about you, but I think it's reached that time where we get back onto the Golf Rock playlist. Andy Walker, I don't know about you, but I've been loving all of these tunes at the end of episodes. I am going to do everyone a favour and put them all together on one playlist. But because there are some restrictions on Spotify, we're going to actually release them as a podcast episode on their own of just Golf Rock. So you can download it, have it on your phone. You can play it in your car. You can just absolutely go nuts singing about all things golf when you're driving around town. What a fantastic idea.
What a great genre it is too. I mean, golf rock.
Yeah,
How good is it?
It's not what we thought we were going to achieve when we set out on this podcast originally, but I'm pretty happy with it, I've got to say. I do like it.
Yeah,
have you got a favourite song, Mick, of all the ones released yet? Or?
No, I don't have a favourite, but it is a highlight. I do enjoy getting to the end of the podcast. Not because I'm sick of listening to YouTube, but because I want to listen to the song. But yeah, I want to hear the new song that comes out. So
you're going to get to hear it first. I love that. That's the best praise I think we've ever received. Is I love getting to the end of your podcast episodes. I think that's right up there. Thanks, Mick. That's awesome. Ah, dear. All right. Well, we do have one queued up, ready to go. We may have foreshadowed its contents just a little bit with our discussion earlier. Mick, it's going to make a lot of sense when you hear it. I hope you enjoy it. Before I press play, Andy Walker, have you got any last minute advice for the Pilgrims?
Rock out, Pilgrims.
Nice.
Walking off the 12th green, trying not to look ahead, but I can hear it in the gum trees, like a voice inside my head. There's a tee box in the distance, where good rounds go to die. The kookaburra that's laughing sounds like it knows exactly why. I tell myself, just swing it smooth, you've hit this shot before. But my hands are getting tighter With every single step I walk, my swing thoughts turn to static, and I can barely hear a word, 'cause the 13's sitting waiting like it knows what I deserve. Water left, trouble right, fairway barely 3 clubs wide, bunker short and out of sight, and trees that lean across my mind. I made doubles, I made triples, I've reloaded off the tee. I own plenty on this golf course, but the 13th owns me. There's a bailout up the right side, so I steer it from my core, and I block it like a coward, like 100 times before. So next time I go left at it, trying to show a bit of spine, and I watch it start out perfect, then it drowns before the line. I've tried driver, I've tried hybrid, I've tried laying back with 3, I've tried praying to the golf gods, but they've stopped taking calls from me. I've stood there full of courage, I've stood there full of doubt, and either way that damn hole just finds a way to sort me out. Water left, trouble right, fairway barely 3 clubs wide, bunker short and out of sight, and trees that lean across my mind. I made doubles, I made triples, I've reloaded off the tee. I own plenty on this golf course, but the 13th owns me. And sometimes in the clubhouse, after 2 beers and a pie, I'll say next week I'll take it on, I've got a plan this time. Then Saturday comes knocking, and I'm back on haunted land, with one more ball, a shaky grip, and a ghost I understand. But once, just once, I found one and striped it down the right. It kicked back off the side slope and sat up pure and white. I hit the green with a 7, rolled the putt to tapping range, and walked away with par there, like a man who'd broken chains. But golf is not forgiving, and it does not let you be. Next round I made a snowman with a 3-putt on the green. So I'll keep going back there with hope and misery, 'cause I own plenty on this golf course, but the 13th owns me. Water left, trouble right, fairway barely 3 clubs wide, bunker short and out of sight, and trees that lean across my mind. I made doubles, I made triples, I've laughed so I don't scream. I own plenty on this golf course, but the 13th owns me. Yeah, I own plenty on this golf course, but the 13th owns me.
It's dedicated to you, Andy Walker, and the 13th at Coimbra. What a cracker.